Chapter 782, The Global Super Race. In the backyard of the Team Loud Phoenix Storm estate, we were showing Sid our villain trophies. She saw the solid gold statue of Saluk next to the stone statue of the evil Terra. Sid, wow. Look at all these amazing statues. Me, yep. Some of the villains we encountered turned into this. This gold statue is Aladdin's enemy Saluk. And this stone statue is the evil Terra. Sid, that's so awesome. And these flags you all made are awesome. Me, yep. These flags are our Death of Organization's flags. They are the symbols of that organization's destruction. We killed a lot of them. Team Rocket, Team Flare, Team Galaxy, Teams Aqua and Magma, the Purple Dragons. There's still a lot of them out there. Sid saw the statue we made for Nico. Sid, wow. This one is amazing. Nico, that statue is me. It was made for me on my birthday. Me, yep. It was an awesome birthday present for him. Me and Lainey made that for him. Sid, that's an awesome statue. I think that is so cool. Nico, thanks Sid. Sid then saw our giant squid statue. SYS, whoa. Is that a giant squid? Me, it sure is. That is our taxidermy of the Graves Point squid. We found out that a huge 110-foot-long giant squid was terrorizing the Pacific coast town of Graves Point, Washington State. This squid killed 10 people and it paralyzed the whole town with fear. Nico, I didn't know about that JD. Me, well this was before you moved here Nico. This giant squid was the largest creature ever to swim the ocean. The largest giant squid ever discovered was 43 feet long and it weighed over half a ton. But this one was 110 feet long and it weighed 5,000 pounds. Nico and Sid, wow. Nico, that is the biggest squid ever. It's as big as a blue whale. Me, a tiny bit bigger than that. But in the end, we saved all of Graves Point from this massive beast and we made a memorial for all the victims of the squid. Sid, that's amazing. But I'm glad you guys stopped this squid. Squids are one of the strongest and smartest creatures ever. Me, I know. Squids are one of nature's most powerful survivors. They've been on this planet for 415 million years and they have one of the most powerful and sophisticated brains ever known. They are very smart creatures. Sid, they sure are. I can't believe they are that smart and powerful. Me neither. Octopuses have been around almost nearly as long. They were on this planet for 323 million years. Nico, wow. So not even half the length of squids. Sid, one thing puzzles me though. What caused the Great Permian extinction? Me, well. It was the continental drift that caused the continents to form into Pangaea that did it. But as a result, it triggered a massive global volcanism chain reaction. Back 240 million years ago, when the continents merged together to form the massive supercontinent Pangaea, all the volcanoes around the world erupted all at once and poured millions and millions of tons of volcanic ash and lava all over the world and it wiped out 95% of all life on the planet, resulting in one of the most devastating mass extinctions ever known. Sid, well. That's horrible. Nico, I know. And we did an awesome educational simulator field trip where we went into the future. Sid, wow. What did you see? Me, that was an awesome experience. We told Sid about our trip into the distant future at 5 million, 100 million, and 200 million years from now and she was floored. Sid, oh that is so amazing. Me, well we don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Nobody knows what the future has in store for us. Lola, but it was such an amazing and educational experience for us. Me, it sure was Lola. Lisa got to study all about the future life. It was all hypothetical but it really intrigued us. Sid, you guys are really amazing. Me, tell me something we don't already know. We laughed. ******. In the living room we were watching TV, reading books, and playing card games. Me, it sure is a beautiful day outside. Lainey, it sure is. Foo, I love enjoying the splendor of the sunny day. Molly Malloy, me too. Me, hey Brittany, how did you and Molly meet? Nico told us you've been best friends for a long time. Molly Malloy, that is an experience I will never forget. Brittany Crosby, that is a day like no other. Molly Malloy, I'll tell the story. Flashback. Molly Malloy, narrating. I was a normal girl in kindergarten. I was a very friendly and very social girl. I also loved helping people out. But then one day, Brittany Crosby came. She was shy, but she was nervous. Brittany saw that I was in trouble by looking through my eyes. I was going through some personal issues with my parents. Flashback paused. Me, what happened to your parents, Molly? Brittany Crosby, her parents divorced. We gasped. That was one of the many things that should never happen in any marriage. Being divorced tears lives and families apart and changes people forever. Me, that's awful. Lainey, divorce is a terrible thing. Lana, how does a divorce happen? Me, it can happen in a number of ways. Marriage not working out, financial strain, abusive partnership, anything. Lola, that's awful. Me, no kidding. Please continue, Molly. Molly Malloy, right. Sorry. Flashback resumes. Molly Malloy, narrating. It wasn't until a certain day that me and Brittany became friends. I walked into the girls' bathroom to wash my hands from getting them covered in marker and I saw Brittany being harassed by some third-grade bullies. She had a nasty black eye and I knew right then that I had to teach them a lesson and stop them. Young Molly went over to the bullies and stood in between them and Brittany ready to face them. Young Molly, leave her alone, you monsters. Bully 1, look at the little twerp defending the freak. Bully 2, let's teach this one a lesson in respecting her elders. But what he didn't know was that Molly was taught in self-defense and she punched the second bully in the crotch with devastating force and punched him in the face and knocked out some of his teeth. She took the other 2 bullies and bashed their heads together and knocked them out. Brittany was amazed. Young Brittany, that was so cool. Young Molly, thanks. I was taught all that. I'm Molly Malloy. Young Brittany, I'm Brittany Crosby and it's a pleasure. Molly Malloy, ever since that day, we became fast friends and we turned the bullies over to the principal's office. Flashback ends. Molly Malloy, we got them expelled from school that day and me and Brittany were best friends ever since then. Lana, wow. Lola, you are a very brave girl, Molly. Lainey, you sure did a great deed that day. Molly Malloy, I don't like to brag. Nico, but those bullies have failed that school as human beings. We laughed. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later I was looking at the strange crystal cluster I found on the planet Venus during the Venusian race. It was a magnificently formed crystal cluster that was glowing red and it was a beautiful cluster. But the crystals were 10,000 times sharper than that of a razor blade and were completely indestructible. Me, this crystal is amazing. I can't believe it grew in the scorching 900 heat on the planet Venus. It's hard to imagine that it's that strong. I got to show this to Lisa. I took the crystal into Lisa's room and I stood in front of a closet door and I formed an octopus tentacle and pressed a passcode on a code panel. Computer, voice identification please. Me, James Dean Knudsen, ID number 725-377-9347 beta. Computer, hello JD. Knudsen. Welcome to Lisa's lab. Me, thank you. The closet opened and Lisa's lab was a massive laboratory. Me, I forgot how big this laboratory is. I walked in and found Lisa and Nicole working on an amazing machine. Nicole saw me. Nicole, oh hey dad. Lisa, greetings second elder brother. Me, hey girls. I have something I need you to look at. Nicole, what is I? Gasps. Where did you get that beautiful crystal cluster? Me. I found it on the planet Venus when we were racing there. It's an amazing crystal cluster and I found it. Nicole. That is an amazing crystal. I'll run some tests on it. Nicole did so and her findings were amazing. She found out that it was a crystal composed of pure indestructible neutronium, the strongest and most indestructible metal ever known to the entire universe, and it is the sharpest crystal ever known in the universe. Able to cut through solid adamantium and the strongest metal in the world like a hot knife through butter. Me. Wow. This is a powerful crystal. Nicole. It sure is. Since you found it on the planet Venus, we'll call it Venusite, after the planet Venus. Me. That's a good name. This crystal will make an awesome forging element for our weapons. Nicole. It sure will, Dad. We can harness this crystal's molecular structure and put it into our swords to make them indestructible. Me. That's an awesome idea. Nicole, Lisa, and Dexter got to work and they copied the crystal's molecular structure and infused it with our swords and it made them sharper than ever before. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We were resting on the couch and having snacks and watching TV. Nico. To Sheila. Sheila. In the underground city, what was your relationship with Roy, Max, George, and Ken? Sheila. I viewed all of them as my brothers. We were very close ever since this whole ordeal ever began. Nico. Wow, what was your family life like before the whole nightmare began? Sheila looked down and I knew right then and there that it was not pretty. Me. Oh no. I take it that it's a bad time. Sheila. It is. I don't like to talk about it. Me. I'm sorry, Sheila. You don't have to tell us right away. You can tell us when you're ready. Sheila. Thanks, JD. I don't want to talk about it. Sheila then broke down crying. Very comforted her. Then there was a knock at the door. Lily. I'll get that. Lily went to the door and she answered it. It was Bobby Fletcher. Lily. Wow. Bobby Fletcher. Bobby. Hey Lily. Is JD available? Me. Oh hey Bobby. What's up? Bobby, there's another awesome race coming up, JD. It's a race around the world. Me. Wow. A global super race? Oh, you know we'll be there. Bobby, I know you will. I'm excited for this one. It's gonna start in Nome, Alaska, and end at the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Me. Well. That's a 22,000-mile long race. Bobby. Actually, it's much longer than that. Here's a map of the race route. Bobby handed me a map and what I saw was staggering. The race starts at Nome, Alaska, and goes all over North America, races through Central and South America, cuts through the Southern Atlantic Ocean, goes all over Africa, all over Europe, all over Asia, all over Australia and finishes at the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Me. Wow. What a race. This has to be a 40,000-mile long race. Bobby. That's exactly right, JD. Me. A race like this would take a whole week to complete. Bobby. That's the challenging part. The whole race is gonna cover 40,000 miles in 8 hours. Me. Wow. That's an awesome challenge. Count us in, Bobby. But our cars aren't equipped to change into any terrain and all that. Bobby. Don't worry, JD. We already built you all multi-terrain changing cars that can get you through any terrain on land, sea, and air. See you all at the race in Nome. Me. We'll be there, Bobby. After Bobby left, we told everyone. Lori. Are you literally serious, J.D? Lenny. A race around the world? That's totes amazing. Nico. This is gonna be fun, guys. May. It sure is. Count me in. Lily. I'm so excited for this. Me too, guys. It's race time. Everyone cheered. 20 minutes earlier, in our garage, Kevin and Lana were working on Kevin's car. Kevin Levin. You sure you want to help me out with my car, Lana? Alien technology can be pretty complicated. Lana, I can handle it, Kevin. They were fixing his car. We came in as they just finished up fixing it. They were covered in transmission fluid and more. Lana, all fixed. Kevin, you're quite an awesome mechanic, Lana. Lana, thanks, Kevin. Kevin, and you know a lot about alien technology. Lana, we've been to several planets and Gwen and Elena have been showing me. I came into the garage. Me, hey guys. It's race time. Lana, awesome. I take it Bobby Fletcher was here? Me, she was Lana. And we have an awesome new race. I told them everything. Kevin, a race around the world, hey? I'm in. Lana, awesome. We got ready for the greatest race on Earth. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Nome, Alaska, starting line. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We were getting our cars ready and we had awesome new cars that can go over any terrain. Me, this is gonna be so awesome. Lainey, it sure is. I don't think we ever raced in a race of this caliber. Lana, I don't think so either. Scottish accent, I'm excited to participate too now. We saw in a skull racer the Silver Banshee. Siobhan MacDougall was the firstborn child of Garrett MacDougall, the patriarch of an old Gaelic clan that has occupied an island midway between Scotland and Ireland for 1,000 generations. On that island is Castle Breen, where firstborn MacDougalls undergo a ritual to prove themselves worthy to lead the clan. When Siobhan was young, she traveled the world, only returning to Castle Breen when she heard of her father's death. Her uncle Seamus determined that no woman would lead the clan and intended her brother Bevan to become the new patriarch. She went ahead with the family ritual by herself, which involved calling on supernatural forces for power. She was interrupted by Bevan, and the distraction proved disastrous as she was dragged away into an infernal netherworld. An entity called the Crone granted her powers and the ability to return to Earth as the Silver Banshee, but demanded payment in the form of an occult book that belonged to her father. She found that her father's book collection had been shipped off for sale in the United States. Her quest brought her to Metropolis. Killing anyone that stood in the way of her search attracted the attention of Superman, who was able to defeat her when he realized that she could only kill a person once as she turned away from someone who resembled a previous victim. By faking his death, Superman was able to enlist the Martian Manhunter to attack Banshee by posing as Superman's ghost. Unable to defeat Superman, she chose to retreat and continue her mission at a later date. Silver Banshee returned to Metropolis twice more, but was halted both times by Superman. It was Batman who finally found the book among some stolen goods in Gotham City. Superman brought the book to Castle Breen where he was confronted by Silver Banshee. The Crone appeared at the castle, and after an enigmatic warning to Superman, she dragged the Banshee, Bevan, and Seamus off to her netherworld. In Leesburg, Supergirl rescued Silver Banshee from Satanist netherworld when the Chaos Flow brought the river Styx to the town. Silver Banshee was left in a confused state, eventually going back to her psychotic persona and using Supergirl's friend Maddie as a host while rampaging on the streets. Maddie and Silver Banshee thus proceeded to nearby Schnafenberg where Maddie tried to get revenge on Gerald McPhee, who killed her brother during Final Night while enthralled to Gorilla Grodd. Supergirl calmed Silver Banshee, separating Maddie from her, which led to Silver Banshee temporarily vanishing. Silver Banshee was one of the final four villains along with Bizarro, Mongol, and the Master Jailer sent against Superman by Manchester Black using his powers to make Banshee and Bizarro sane enough to tactically outthink Superman, also granting Banshee awareness of his Kryptonian name so that she could use her magic against him more effectively. Despite this, Superman was able to defeat the four, forcing Mongol to expend his energy before dropping a nuclear-powered superhuman onto the deserted island that they were currently inhabiting. Silver Banshee attempted to collect the billion-dollar bounty President Luthor placed on Superman's head in Superman/Batman number 3, but failed, with Batman using an ultrasonic generator to keep her nullified. Silver Banshee later joined the secret society headed by Alexander Luthor. She was one of the members who turned on Black Adam when Luthor needed him for his machine. She also took part in the Battle of Metropolis. Silver Banshee battles Supergirl in Supergirl number 34, and is expected to be a recurring nemesis for Supergirl, as well as Superman, as part of an attempt to tie Supergirl's book in with Superman's titles. In Superman number 682, Supergirl was used as a diversion as some members of Kandor captured Silver Banshee, placing her in the Phantom Zone. Later, Superman freed Silver Banshee to be taken to Belle Reve. Inspector Henderson with other police officers break into an apartment, but it explodes and then they find a corpse covered in runes. Karam meets with Inspector Henderson, who's following a case his old mentor was never able to close, and thinks it has to do with items Silver Banshee needs to lift her curse. Inspector Henderson finds his mentor had the item, but it embeds itself in Inspector Henderson's hand, allowing Silver Banshee to track him. Silver Banshee shows up and fights Supergirl, but Supergirl opens a package from Henderson and becomes possessed by a Banshee hybrid. Banshee Supergirl and the Silver Banshee battle each other as events are recapped. Supergirl tells Silver Banshee they hid the artifacts in people, in order to keep them hidden from her. Apparently all the items were hidden not as a curse, but as a test for prospective clan leaders. Henderson punches Banshee Supergirl, which is effective because of the artifact in his hand. Supergirl tries to exorcise the spirits possessing her but fails. Henderson realizes the spirits are tied to the artifacts and can be used against them. He then stabs his hand and breaking Supergirl free from her spirits. Silver Banshee then uses her wails to disperse the spirits. She finally uses magic to remove the artifacts from Henderson's hand and lets him know she is indebted to him. Me, Siobhan McDougal aka the Silver Banshee. Lucy, Silver Banshee? What are you doing here? Silver Banshee, relax, Lucy. I'm not here to cause trouble now. Believe it or not, I'm here to race. Lucy, really? Does Grodd know you're doing this? Silver Banshee, I actually quit the Legion of Doom. Lucy, why? I thought you had a great time with them. Silver Banshee, I did at first. But I'm getting older now. I need to do something else with my life besides the same old crime routine. Timmy Turner, to Silver Banshee last time a criminal said he was going straight, me and J.DS fairies were put at risk. Why should we believe you? Me, she's telling the truth. I see it in her eyes. She left the Legion of Doom to redeem herself. But also I have a strong feeling that it's to take back your rightful place as the patriarch of your family. Silver Banshee, You're right, JD. My brother Bevan must pay for his crimes against my family. Me, he will pay for his crimes after we finish the race. Julie Martin, this is gonna be so awesome. I can't believe we're gonna participate in a race like this. Rodimus Prime, even though you can't drive yet, it's still gonna be so much fun. Smokescreen, this is gonna be so awesome. Sheena Deep, this is gonna be awesome. Crumble Zone, this is your first ever race, guys. Billy Deep, it sure is. I'm so excited. Robbie Schwartz, we all are. Jack Johnson, I am too. I'll be rooting for you guys. Trudy, same here. We got in our race cars. Billy Natson then came. Billy N, A&D. Welcome to another most fantastic race and one of the biggest days in the history of man. Hello, I'm Billy Natson and we have a magnificent treat for you all today. Today we're having a first ever global race around the whole world and it's a 40,000-mile long race that extends all the way from Nome, Alaska to the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Wow. We have with us the legendary racers of Team Loud Phoenix Storm and it's gonna be a magnificent treat for you all today. Are you excited about the race today, JD? Me, you know I am Billy. A race around the world will be an awesome experience. Let burn rubber. Billy N, love that racing spirit, JD. Have fun out there, guys. Everyone was so excited. We got in our cars as Krista was getting ready to wave the green flag and Dick Dastardly was already planning how to make sure the racers don't get ahead of him. Krista, everyone ready? We revved our engines. Krista, on your mark. Get set. We were ready. Krista, rev up and go ho 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 ho. We put the pedals to the metal and gunned it. Billy in, and they're off. We zoomed out of Nome, Alaska at 300 miles per hour and we were really blazing with intense speed. We were already going past the highest mountain in North America, Mount McKinley. It was a beautiful mountain at 20,310 feet high and it was breathtaking. Next we were in the Yukon in northwestern Canada. We went in a roller coaster line and we saw all kinds of magnificent mountains, forests, and more. Next we zoomed through Manitoba, Canada, and it was beautiful. We then raced through Ontario, Quebec, and a small part of Churchill Falls. We saw all kinds of beautiful places. We were now in the continental United States and we went through New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington State, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona again, and then we went across the border into Mexico. We cut through Central America and we saw Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Panama. Next we were in South America. We were going through Bogota, Colombia. Next we went through Venezuela and it was beautiful. We then saw the tallest waterfall in the world, Angel Falls. At 3,212 feet high, it was easily the tallest waterfall in the world. Angel Falls, Spanish, Salta Angel, Peman language, Kirpacupe Meru meaning waterfall of the deepest place, or Paracupavina, meaning the fall from the highest point, is a waterfall in Venezuela. It is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall, with a height of 979 meters, 3,212 feet, and a plunge of 807 m, 2,648 feet. The waterfall drops over the edge of the Ollantaypuy mountain in the Canaima National Park, Spanish, Parque Nacional Canaima, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the Gran Sabana region of Bolívar State. The height figure, 979 m, 3,212 feet, mostly consists of the main plunge but also includes about 400 meters, 1,300 feet, of sloped cascade and rapids below the drop and a 30-meter, 98 feet, high plunge downstream of the Talus Rapids. The falls are along a fork of the Rio Kirpacupe Meru which flows into the Curun River, a tributary of the Carao River, itself a tributary of the Orinoco River. Lainey, wow! Look at that waterfall. Me, that's Angel Falls. The tallest waterfall in the world. Lori, it's literally so beautiful. Luna, that is an amazing waterfall dudes. Luan, it sure will make you fall. Laughs to rimshot, get it? Most of us laugh while everyone else sighed. Later we passed through Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. We were driving through the town of Jonestown, Guyana. Luna, wow. So this is Guyana. Me, yep, and this is the town where a terrible event back in the 1970s called the Jonestown Massacre took place. The People's Temple Agricultural Project, better known by its informal name Jonestown, was a remote settlement established by the People's Temple, a cult under the leadership of Jim Jones, in northwestern Guyana. It became internationally known when, on November 18, 1978, a total of 918 people died in the settlement, at the nearby airstrip in Port Kaituma, and at a temple-run building in Georgetown, Guyana's capital city. The name of the settlement became synonymous with the incidents at those locations. In total, 909 individuals died in Jonestown, all but 2 from apparent cyanide poisoning, in an event termed Revolutionary Suicide by Jones and some People's Temple members on an audio tape of the event, and in prior recorded discussions. The poisonings in Jonestown followed the murder of 5 others by Temple members at Port Kaituma, including United States Congressman Leo Ryan, an act that Jones ordered. 4 other Temple members committed murder-suicide in Georgetown at Jones' command. Terms used to describe the deaths in Jonestown and Georgetown evolved over time. Many contemporary media accounts after the events called the deaths a mass suicide. In contrast, most sources today refer to the deaths with terms such as mass murder-suicide, a massacre, or simply mass murder. 70 or more individuals at Jonestown were injected with poison, and a third of the victims, 304, were minors. Guards armed with guns and crossbows had been ordered to shoot those who fled the Jonestown pavilion as Jones lobbied for suicide. Jonestown resulted in the largest single loss of American civilian life in a deliberate act until September 11, 2001. Nico, man. That is horrible. Luna, I heard you mention that when Linka came to our dimension. Linka, I remember that. That was so awful. Lainey, I know. It's just absolutely sick that cult leaders can be that deranged. Nico, I know. Later we were in northeastern Brazil and we were in the white sand deserts of the famous Lencoas Maranhenses National Park. Lencoas Maranhenses National Park, Parque Nacional dos Lencoas Maranhenses A, is a national park located in Maranhão State in northeastern Brazil, just east of the Baía de São José. Protected on June 2, 1981, the 155,000 ha, 380,000 acre, park includes 70 kilometers, 43 miles, of coastline, and an interior composed of rolling sand dunes. During the rainy season, the valleys among the dunes fill with freshwater lagoons, prevented from draining due to the impermeable rock beneath. The park is home to a range of species, including 4 listed as endangered, and has become a popular destination for ecotourists. Lana, whoa. Look at this place. Me, this is a very popular tourist destination here in northeastern Brazil. It's called the Lencoas Maranhenses National Park. Nico, it's beautiful. It's like the perfect oasis. Lori, I would love to come here for a vacation. Lainey, me too. The water is so beautiful and crystal blue. Lola, it's so pretty. Lily, I never even knew a place like this even existed. It's breathtaking. We went down south and queued through Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. We cut through Uruguay and went through Argentina and then we arrived at Patagonia, Chile. Me, now we have to go underwater, guys. We went into the ocean and our cars turned into submarines and we were underwater in the southern Atlantic Ocean. We were underwater and we saw the southern side of the most seismically active volcanic area on the planet, the mid-ocean ridge. A mid-ocean ridge, more, is a seafloor mountain system formed by plate tectonics. It typically has a depth of 2,600 meters, 8,500 feet, and rises about 2 kilometers above the deepest portion of an ocean basin. This feature is where seafloor spreading takes place along a divergent plate boundary. The rate of seafloor spreading determines the morphology of the crest of the mid-ocean ridge and its width in an ocean basin. The production of new seafloor and oceanic lithosphere results from mantle upwelling in response to plate separation. The melt rises as magma at the linear weakness in the oceanic crust, and emerges as lava, creating new crust and lithosphere upon cooling. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is a spreading center that bisects the North and South Atlantic basins, hence the origin of the name Mid-Ocean Ridge. Most oceanic spreading centers are not in the middle of their hosting ocean basis but regardless, are called mid-ocean ridges. Mid-ocean ridges around the globe are linked by plate tectonic boundaries and appear similar to the seam of a baseball. The mid-ocean ridge system thus is the longest mountain range on Earth, reaching about 65,000 kilometers, 40,000 miles. Me, wow. The mid-ocean ridge. Lincoln, it's a massive underwater mountain range. Lainey, it's huge. I never even knew all this was here. Earth, it's one of the most seismically and volcanically active mountain ranges on our planet. Me, that's right. It's also the longest mountain range on our planet and it's at 40,000 miles long. Everyone, wow. Lynn, that is so amazing. Nico, no kidding. Later we were in southern Africa. We switched to Jeep mode and we were racing through South Africa. We were in the capital city of Johannesburg. Me, Johannesburg, South Africa. Lainey, I've always wanted to come here. Me, it's also home to famous South African revolutionary Nelson Mandela. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, /Mandela / Kosa, Kola Mandla, July 18, 1918 December 5, 2013, was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist who served as President of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the country's first black head of state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government focused on dismantling the legacy of apartheid by tackling institutionalized racism and fostering racial reconciliation. Ideologically an African nationalist and socialist, he served as president of the African National Congress, ANC, party from 1991 to 1997. A Xhosa, Mandela was born to the Thembi royal family in Mvezo, British South Africa. He studied law at the University of Fort Hare and the University of Witwatersrand before working as a lawyer in Johannesburg. There he became involved in anti-colonial and African nationalist politics, joining the ANC in 1943 and co-founding its Youth League in 1944. After the National Party's white-only government established apartheid, a system of racial segregation that privileged whites, he and the ANC committed themselves to its overthrow. Mandela was appointed president of the ANC's Transvaal branch, rising to prominence for his involvement in the 1952 Defiance Campaign and the 1955 Congress of the People. He was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities and was unsuccessfully prosecuted in the 1956 treason trial. Influenced by Marxism, he secretly joined the banned South African Communist Party, SACP. Although initially committed to nonviolent protest, in association with the SACP he co-founded the militant Umkhonto we Sizwe in 1961 and led a sabotage campaign against the government. He was arrested and imprisoned in 1962, and subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment for conspiring to overthrow the state following the Rivonia trial. Mandela served 27 years in prison, split between Robben Island, Pollsmoor Prison, and Victor Verster Prison. Amid growing domestic and international pressure, and with fears of a racial civil war, President F.W. de Klerk released him in 1990. Mandela and de Klerk led efforts to negotiate an end to apartheid, which resulted in the 1994 multiracial general election in which Mandela led the ANC to victory and became president. Leading a broad coalition government which promulgated a new constitution, Mandela emphasized reconciliation between the country's racial groups and created the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate past human rights abuses. Economically, Mandela's administration retained its predecessor's liberal framework despite his own socialist beliefs, also introducing measures to encourage land reform, combat poverty, and expand healthcare services. Internationally, he acted as mediator in the Pan Am Flight 103 bombing trial and served as Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Movement from 1998 to 1999. He declined a second presidential term, and in 1999 was succeeded by his deputy, Thabo Mbeki. Mandela became an elder statesman and focused on combating poverty and HIV/AIDS through the charitable Nelson Mandela Foundation. Mandela was a controversial figure for much of his life. Although critics on the right denounced him as a communist terrorist and those on the far left deemed him too eager to negotiate and reconcile with apartheid's supporters, he gained international acclaim for his activism. Widely regarded as an icon of democracy and social justice, he received more than 250 honors including the Nobel Peace Prize and became the subject of a cult of personality. He is held in deep respect within South Africa, where he is often referred to by his Xhosa clan name, Madaba, and described as the father of the nation. Lainey, Nelson Mandela is one of my favorite historical figures. I love his beliefs in anti-racism. Lana, me too. He was a hugely famous figure in history. Luan, he sure was. Luna, I agree dudes. Ronnie Ann, he was a major influence over much of the world. Me, Yep. He was persecuted a lot. But his will and strength was incredibly strong and powerful. He is a true example of how strong the human spirit can be. Lincoln, that is a strong inspiration. Later our cars were in hovercraft modes and we were driving through the notorious Okavango swamp in Botswana. The Okavango Delta, or Okavango grassland, formerly spelled Okovango or Okovango, in Botswana is a swampy inland delta formed where the Okavango River reaches a tectonic trough in the central part of the Enderhike basin of the Kalahari. All the water reaching the delta is ultimately evaporated and transpired and does not flow into any sea or ocean. Each year, about 11 cubic kilometers, 2.6 cu of water spread over the 6,00015,000 km2, 2,305,800 sq area. Some flood waters drain into Lake Angamai. The area was once part of Lake Makadakadai, an ancient lake that had mostly dried up by the early Holocene. The Mormi Game Reserve, a national park, is on the eastern side of the delta. The delta was named as one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa, which were officially declared on February 11, 2013 in Arusha, Tanzania. On June 22, 2014, the Okavango Delta became the 1,000th site to be officially inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Wow. The Okavango Swamp. One of the most treacherous swamps in the world. Laney, it sure looks very dangerous. I would not want to be here. Lana, me neither. But look at all the animals here. Lola, there sure are a lot of them. We later went over Mozambique and crossed over into Zimbabwe and we went into Namibia. We crossed over into Angola and we saw the desolate Skeleton Coast, one of the most bleak and barren deserts in the world. The Skeleton Coast is the northern part of the Atlantic coast of Namibia and south of Angola from the Kunene River south to the Swako River, although the name is sometimes used to describe the entire Namib Desert coast. The Bushmen of the Namibian interior called the region the land God made in anger, while Portuguese sailors once referred to it as the Gates of Hell. The name Skeleton Coast was coined by John Henry Marsh as the title for the book he wrote chronicling the shipwreck of the Dunedin Star. Since the book was first published in 1944, it has become so well known that the coast is now generally referred to as Skeleton Coast and is given that as its official name on most maps today. On the coast, the upwelling of the cold Benguela Current gives rise to dense ocean fogs, called Kazimbo by the Angolans, for much of the year. The winds blow from land to sea, rainfall rarely exceeds 10 millimeters, 0.39 in, annually and the climate is highly inhospitable. There is a constant, heavy surf on the beaches. In the days before engine-powered ships and boats, it was possible to get ashore through the surf but impossible to launch from the shore. The only way out was by going through a marsh hundreds of miles long and only accessible via a hot and arid desert. The coast is largely soft sand occasionally interrupted by rocky outcrops. The southern section consists of gravel plains, while north of Terrace Bay the landscape is dominated by high sand dunes. Skeleton Bay is now known as a great location for surfing. Wow. Skeleton Coast. Lainey, this place gives me the creeps. Lucy, I would love coming here in times of darkness. This desert is also home to the largest meteorite ever found. The Hoba meteorite. The Hoba/Hob/HOHB meteorite, short for Hoba West, is a meteorite that lies on the farm of the same name, not far from Grootfontein, in the Etiozanjab region of Namibia. It has been uncovered but, because of its large mass, has never been moved from where it fell. The main mass is estimated at more than 60 tons. It is the largest known intact meteorite, as a single piece, and about twice as massive as the largest fragment of either the Cape York meteorite, the 31-ton Agniito, or the Campo del Cielo, the 30-ton Gancedo. It is also the most massive naturally occurring piece of iron, actually ferronickel, known on Earth's surface. The name Hoba comes from Koakhogawab word meaning gift. Lana, that one must be really heavy. It weighs over 60 tons or 120,000 pounds. Everyone, wow. Lincoln, that is really heavy. Lori, not nearly as heavy as the one that literally crashed into Dallas. Me, I know. Later we went through Zaire, Tanzania, Zaire again, the Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Mali, Gambia, Mauritania and Morocco. We were driving through Algeria and Carol spotted Dick dastardly up to no good as we were driving through a canyon. Carol, guys. Dick dastardly is about to block off the canyon. Me, I see it Carol. I press some buttons. Me, Banshee missiles away. I fired 2 Banshee missiles and they released a deadly sonic shriek that shattered the rock into pebbles. William, to Silver Banshee looks like your first assignment with us just drove by. Either convince Dastardly to back off or take him down. Silver Banshee, roger that. That was awesome that J.DS car can do that. William, Lisa built them. Aline, she sure did. Silver Banshee fired a sonic laser and it hit by Dick Dastardly and sent him flying and he slammed into the opposite wall. Slam. Dick Dastardly, muffled, drat. Drat. And double drat. We were driving through the deserts of Libya. Foo, Dick Dastardly is driving up behind you fast JD. Me, I see him foo. Dick Dastardly was really pissed this time. He was growling like a madman and the arteries and veins in his eyes were showing and that indicated that he was out of his mind with so much rage that it was unbelievable. Dick Dastardly, I will kill you for this JD. Me, he's completely lost his marbles. Dick Dastardly armed his racer with all kinds of weapons on it. There were lasers, missiles, and more on it. Me, wow. His car is a war machine. Foo, he's really going at it. Aline, I don't think so you freak. Volcano missile fire. Aline fired a rocket full of red-hot lava and it hit by the side of Dick Dastardly's car and it exploded into a massive fiery explosion as Dick Dastardly fired some missiles. Crab The missiles he fired hit the cliffs and they exploded and sent a major rock slide at us. Lainey, I got this. Lainey used her plant powers and formed a net that caught the rocks. Nico, nice work Lainey. Lily, let's see how he likes this. Quicksand missile, fire. Lily fired a brown missile and it went ahead of Dick Dastardly and it hit the desert in front of him and formed a pit of swirling quicksand and Dick Dastardly fell into it and sank halfway. Lily, eat our dust you loser. Nico, Dick Dastardly you have once again failed this race. We were really ahead of him now. But Dick Dastardly was not gonna be finished yet. We drove through Egypt and went into the Sinai Peninsula and into Saudi Arabia. We saw under construction a brand new super tall skyscraper going up. It was the Jannah Tower and it was gonna be the tallest building in the world. We went north and went into Turkey. We were driving through the capital city of Istanbul, Turkey. Me, Istanbul, Turkey. What a beautiful city. Lana, it sure is. Lainey, I think this is a pretty place. Me, it sure is. That's my favorite building right there. The Sultan Ahmed Mosque. The Sultan Ahmed Mosque, Turkish, Sultan Ahmed Camii, is a historic mosque located in Istanbul, Turkey. A popular tourist site, the Sultan Ahmed Mosque continues to function as a mosque today. The Blue Mosque, as it is popularly known, was constructed between 1609 and 1616 during the rule of Ahmed I. Its kulai contains Ahmed's tomb, a madrasa, and a hospice. Hand-painted blue tiles adorn the mosque's interior walls, and at night the mosque is bathed in blue as lights frame the mosque's 5 main domes, 6 minarets, and 8 secondary domes. It sits next to the Hagia Sophia, another popular tourist site. Nico, isn't that one of Istanbul's popular tourist sites? Me, yep. Lola, didn't they once call this place Constantinople? Me, that's right Lola. Istanbul, Turkey was once called Constantinople. Constantinople/KNSTNTnople/ Greek, Kappa Omega Nu Sigma Tau Alpha Nu Tau Iota Nu Omicron Pi Omicron Lambda Iota. Translate. Constantinopolis, Latin, Constantinopolis, was the capital city of the Roman Empire, 333–95, of the Eastern Roman, Byzantine, Empire, 395–1204 and 1261–1453, of the brief Crusader state known as the Latin Empire, 1204–1261, and of the Ottoman Empire, 1453–1923. In 1923 the capital of Turkey, the successor state of the Ottoman Empire, was moved to Ankara and the name Constantinople was officially changed to Istanbul. The city is located in what is now the European side and the core of modern Istanbul. The city is still referred to as Constantinople in Greek-speaking sources. In 324 ancient Byzantium became the new capital of the Roman Empire by Emperor Constantine the Great, after whom it was renamed, and dedicated on May 11, 330. From the mid-5th century to the early 13th century, Constantinople was the largest and wealthiest city in Europe. The city became famous for its architectural masterpieces, such as Hagia Sophia, the cathedral of the Eastern Orthodox Church, which served as the seat of the Ecumenical Patriarchate, the sacred imperial palace where the emperors lived, the Galata Tower, the Hippodrome, the Golden Gate of the Land Walls, and the opulent aristocratic palaces lining the arcaded avenues and squares. The University of Constantinople was founded in the 5th century and contained numerous artistic and literary treasures before it was sacked in 1204 and 1453, including its vast imperial library which contained the remnants of the Library of Alexandria and had over 100,000 volumes of ancient texts. It was instrumental in the advancement of Christianity during Roman and Byzantine times as the home of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople and as the guardian of Christendom's holiest relics such as the Crown of Thorns and the True Cross. Constantinople was famed for its massive and complex defenses. The first wall of the city was erected by Constantine I, and surrounded the city on both land and sea fronts. Later, in the 5th century, the Praetorian prefect Anthemius under the child Emperor Theodosius II undertook the construction of the Theodosian walls, which consisted of a double wall lying about 2 kilometers, 1.2 miles, to the west of the first wall and a moat with palisades in front. This formidable complex of defenses was one of the most sophisticated of antiquity. The city was built intentionally to rival Rome, and it was claimed that several elevations within its walls matched the 7 hills of Rome. Because it was located between the Golden Horn and the Sea of Marmara, the land area that needed defensive walls was reduced, and this helped it to present an impregnable fortress enclosing magnificent palaces, domes, and towers, the result of the prosperity it achieved from being the gateway between 2 continents, Europe and Asia, and 2 seas, the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. Although besieged on numerous occasions by various armies, the defenses of Constantinople proved impregnable for nearly 900 years. In 1204, however, the armies of the Fourth Crusade took and devastated the city, and its inhabitants lived several decades under Latin misrule. In 1261 the Byzantine Emperor Michael VIII Palaiologos liberated the city, and after the restoration under the Palaiologos dynasty, enjoyed a partial recovery. With the advent of the Ottoman Empire in 1299, the Byzantine Empire began to lose territories and the city began to lose population. By the early 15th century, the Byzantine Empire was reduced to just Constantinople and its environs, along with Moria in Greece, making it an enclave inside the Ottoman Empire. After a 53-day siege, the city eventually fell to the Ottomans, led by Sultan Mehmed II, on May 29, 1453, whereafter it replaced Edirne, Adrianople, as the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. Lola, how come they changed it to Istanbul? Me, they just liked it better that way. Luna, there's a song for this called Istanbul, not Constantinople, by They Might Be Giants. Me, I love that song Luna. I took out one of their CDs and put it in and it played said song. Istanbul not Constantinople by They Might Be Giants plays. Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone, oh Constantinople. Now it's Turkish delight on a moonlit night. Every gal in Constantinople lives in Istanbul, not Constantinople. So if you've a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it I can't say. People just liked it better that way. So, take me back to Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone, oh Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Istanbul. 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 Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it I can't say. People just liked it better that way. Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone, oh Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. So, take me back to Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone, oh Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Istanbul. We drove on and we went through Bulgaria, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, France, and into Spain. We were going through Barcelona, Spain, and it was a beautiful city. We saw the most beautiful church in Spain, the Sagrada Familia. The Temple Expiatorio de la Sagrada Familia, Catalan. Temple Expiatorio la Saf Milche, Spanish. Templo Expiatorio de la Sagrada Familia, Expiatory Church of the Holy Family, is a large unfinished Roman Catholic church in Barcelona. Designed by Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí, 1852-1926, his work on the building is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In November 2010, Pope Benedict XVI consecrated the church and proclaimed it a minor basilica. In 1882, construction of Sagrada Familia began under architect Francisco de Paula del Villar. In 1883, when Villar resigned, Gaudí took over as chief architect, transforming the project with his architectural and engineering style, combining Gothic and curvilinear Art Nouveau forms. Gaudí devoted the remainder of his life to the project, and he is buried in the crypt. At the time of his death in 1926, less than a quarter of the project was complete. Relying solely on private donations, Sagrada Familia's construction progressed slowly and was interrupted by the Spanish Civil War. In July 1936, revolutionaries set fire to the crypt and broke their way into the workshop, partially destroying Gaudí's original plans, drawings, and plaster models, which led to 16 years' work to piece together the fragments of the master model. Construction resumed to intermittent progress in the 1950s. Advancements in technologies such as computer-aided design and computerized numerical control, CNC, have since enabled faster progress and construction past the midpoint in 2010. However, some of the project's greatest challenges remain, including the construction of 10 more spires, each symbolizing an important biblical figure in the New Testament. It is anticipated that the building can be completed by 2026, the centenary of Gaudí's death. The basilica has a long history of splitting opinion among the residents of Barcelona, over the initial possibility it might compete with Barcelona's cathedral, over Gaudí's design itself, over the possibility that work after Gaudí's death disregarded his design, and the 2007 proposal to build a tunnel of Spain's high-speed rail link to France which could disturb its stability. Describing Sagrada Familia, art critic Rainer Zerbst said it is probably impossible to find a church building anything like it in the entire history of art, and Paul Goldberger describes it as the most extraordinary personal interpretation of Gothic architecture since the Middle Ages. We continued on and we went through France again, Germany and into Denmark. We crossed over into Scandinavia and we went through Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Then we went through Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Poland, and then we went through Ukraine and into Russia. We were now in Asia and we were going through Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. In Turkmenistan, we saw an incredibly unusual sight. We saw Darvaza gas crater. The Darvaza gas crater, Turkmen, Cehennemdir was easy, known locally as the door to hell or gates of hell, is a natural gas field collapsed into an underground cavern located in Dirwaz, Turkmenistan. Geologists intentionally set it on fire to prevent the spread of methane gas, and it is thought to have been burning continuously since 1971. The gas crater has a total area of 5,350 square meters. Its diameter is 69 m, 226 feet, and its depth is 30 m, 98 feet. The Turkmen government hopes that the crater will become a popular tourist attraction. The surrounding area is also popular for wild desert camping. Lainey, look at that. Me, that's the Darvaza gas crater. It's been burning ever since 1971. Lincoln, it sure is a strange crater. We then went through the war zones of Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, and then we crossed over into India. We then went through Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. We then went through China and we saw it all. Then we went through the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. One of the most famously known dinosaur graveyards on the planet. The Gobi Desert, /o.by/ is a large desert or brushland region in Asia. It covers parts of northern and northeastern China and of southern Mongolia. The desert basins of the Gobi are bounded by the Altai Mountains and the grasslands and steppes of Mongolia on the north, by the Taklamakan Desert to the west, by the Hexi Corridor and Tibetan Plateau to the southwest, and by the North China Plain to the southeast. The Gobi is notable in history as part of the Great Mongol Empire and as the location of several important cities along the Silk Road. The Gobi is a rain-shadow desert, formed by the Tibetan Plateau blocking precipitation from the Indian Ocean reaching the Gobi territory. Me, wow. The Gobi Desert. Lainey, it's so dry here. Lana, this place is amazing. Suddenly we saw a massive burst of lightning shoot out of the desert sand. Lincoln, whoa. Did you see that? Me, I sure did. But there are no storms in the area. Lisa, how is that possible? Then we saw a huge worm emerge from the sand and it was screeching horrifically and we saw it emit a tremendous amount of lightning from its body. Lainey, whoa. Look at that. Lori, what in the world is that thing? Me, it can't be. I thought it was just a legend. Lana, what is that thing? Me, that's the legendary Mongolian death worm. The Mongolian death worm, Mongolian, Algoikerkhoi, large intestine worm, is a creature alleged to exist in the Gobi Desert. The creature first came to Western attention as a result of Roy Chapman Andrews's 1926 book On the Trail of Ancient Man. The American paleontologist was not convinced by the tales of the monster that he heard at a gathering of Mongolian officials. None of those present ever had seen the creature, but they all firmly believed in its existence and described it minutely. In 1983 a specimen of Tartar sand boa, Eryx tataricus, was shown to locals who claimed to have seen Algoikerkhoi, and they confirmed that this was the animal they called Algoikerkhoi. Lynn, I've read about that creature. Lola, I thought that thing was a myth. Lucy, it's now a real thing. Lainey took a picture of it and she got living breathing proof of its existence. Crumble Zone, that is incredible. I never saw a creature like that. Nico, none of us have. Me, but it's also extremely dangerous. Its lightning discharge is as powerful as 100 lightning strikes. Crumble Zone, I'll scare it off. Cyber Key Power. The Velocitron Cyber Planet Key went into his back and turned his engines into powerful cannons. He fired them and blasted the ground and scared it off. Me, nice shot Crumble Zone. Nico, I'll say. Good work. Crumble Zone, thanks boss. We went out of the desert and we went back into Kazakhstan and we went back into Russia. We went through Siberia and we were wearing our warmest fur parkas as it was getting blistering cold. We journeyed all over Russia and we were in the town of Oymyakon, Russia. The coldest town on earth. Oymyakon, Russian, pronounced JM-Kon, Yakut, Oymokun, IPA, JMKN, is a rural locality, a selo, in Oymyakonsky district of the Sakha Republic, Russia, located along the Indigirka River, 30 kilometers, 19 miles, northwest of Tomdar on the Kolyma Highway. It is one of the coldest permanently inhabited settlements on Earth. The temperature in Oymyakon right now was -80 Fahrenheit and it was bone-chillingly cold. But we made it out and we turned our cars into speedboats and we were over in Japan. We then went to the Philippines and it was as beautiful as we remember seeing it on our worldwide adventure. Me? Wow. The Philippines. It's so beautiful. Lori, I can't believe it has this many islands. Nico? Me neither. My mom and dad are both from the Philippines. Me? I remember that. You told me that your mom and dad were both from the Philippines. Nico? Yep. Me? That is so awesome, Nico. Lincoln? It sure is. We then arrived in Indonesia and we were now in Australia. We were driving all over the Australian outback and we took our cars in boat mode to New Zealand and then it was time to race for the finish line. However, we got an unexpected shock when we saw Dick Dastardly back for round 2. Me? Dick Dastardly. Dick Dastardly, that's right. Now you will never cross that finish line. No one is crossing that finish line but me. Me? We'll see about that. Dick Dastardly had numerous weapons and laser blasters ready. Laney? I don't think so. Presses some buttons. Thorn bomb missiles. Fire. Laney's roadster grew rose vines and they whiplashed and fired rose thorns and they hit Dick Dastardly's car and exploded. His car sank into the ocean and Dick Dastardly and Muttley were left floating. Dick Dastardly, drat. 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 Triple drat. Nico, once again you have failed this race. We crossed the ocean and made it to the Kamchatka Peninsula and the finish line was at the base of Kronosky volcano and we saw it and it was a struggle. Billy N. And here comes the first race to cross the finish line. It's Lincoln Loud and Earth. I came in second and Laney and Nico came in tied at third place. We went to the winner's circle and Lincoln and Earth were given an awesome trophy in the shape of planet Earth and it was made of solid blue Waterford crystal and the continents were green Waterford crystal and there was a car racing around it and it was a beautiful trophy. Lincoln. This is so awesome Earth. Earth. It sure is Linky. I'm so happy we won. Me. Way to go buddy. I'm so proud of you. Laney. Me too big brother. Nico. You were awesome Lincoln. Me. And not only that but we've now officially have seen the entire planet in one day. We were having an awesome dinner at the Burpin Burger to celebrate. Me. Way to go guys. A toast to Lincoln and Earth for their awesome win. Everyone, cheers. We clinked our glasses together. Everyone at the restaurant cheered. Silver Banshee, now that the race is done, time for me to get to the reason that I even joined the Legion of Doom in the first place. Me. Okay Cyaban. Silver Banshee, I left the Legion because they were doing all kinds of deeds that made me realize that joining them was a foolish idea. I want to reclaim my rightful place as Patriarch of the McDougal clan. Me. You made the right decision Cyaban. Cyaban told us what happened and her brother Bevan is a monster. We gladly agreed to help her in exchange for her joining the Redemption Squad. Me. And how about we also give you the ability to transform into the Silver Banshee at will? Silver Banshee, thanks for trying, JD. But I don't think anything. Banshee's head started pounding. She held her throbbing head in pain as she groaned in agony. She then gasped as the skin on her hand changed color. Her bones were stretching inside her as her skin changed back to what it was and her hair turned back to Scottish red and her eyes were green and she was now in a black and white leotard. Silver Banshee was back in her human form. Silver Banshee, Smiles weakly. Thank you, Lucy. Vomits all over the floor. Everyone, you. We cleaned up her mess. Me, now it's personal. Let's head over to Scotland, people. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We arrived at the MacDougall clan castle in Scotland and we saw that it was heavily guarded. Me, this place is a heavily guarded fortress. Siobhan, Bevan must have gone to extremes now. Me, no kidding. Robbie Schwartz, I can hack into the computer of the security system and shut it all down. We snuck into the castle and we went to the main security panel. Eddie, great. It needs a password to open. Robbie Schwartz, I can use my powers to hack the console. But it's gonna take time. Me, okay. Robbie hacked into it. He typed in the password. It was Scotland I. Computer, access granted. Security system shutting down. Me, yes. We went to find Bevan. Bevan MacDougall was looking over footage of our battles. Bevan, Scottish accent, ever since those Cybertronians showed up, battles against the Avengers and the Justice League have gotten very ugly. Bodyguard, it's not just the battles, Your Highness. Our old villain hideouts have gotten ugly as well. Take Horrorland, for instance. It used to be a large place for the Goosebumps monsters to go to. And now, it's just a smoking crater. Then a fiery explosion blasted the door open. When the smoke cleared they saw us. Me, Bevan MacDougall, you're under arrest. Bevan saw Siobhan. Bevan, Siobhan. Yo. You're alive. Silver Banshee, if you think I'm letting you keep the throne, brother, you're sorely mistaken. Bevan, am I? When you came in, my security cameras got footage of you with Team Loud Phoenix Storm. All I need to do is make that footage public and you will be #1 on the enemy lists of all the villains out there. And with nowhere to go, you'd have to go on the run. Face it, dear sister. You have to keep me on the throne. You don't have a choice. I blasted all the equipment and blew it all apart and destroyed it all. Me, not this time, you motherfucker. Say hello to our little friends. Edzilla roared as he appeared behind me and he was ready to smash Bevan. Edzilla, Ed smash bad brother. Sheila, I want to help out. Sheila concentrated. Sheila, head changing. Oh fuck. It hurts so bad. Her head was growing in size. Sheila, head changes and groans in pain. The Shredder should have died before Team Loud Phoenix Storm saved us. This is fucking painful. She then lost her teeth. Sheila, I just brushed those. She turned into shred legs. They went at Bevan and smashed him all over the place with indiscriminate fury. It was a ferocious and powerful assault. But then they stopped and they were reverting back. Her human teeth came back. Sheila, my teeth. Nico, Bevan MacDougall, you have failed this world. We sent Bevan to the Neptune prison for traitors and he was sentenced to eternity in prison without the possibility of parole. Ricky Chadwick caught her first ever Pokemon during the race, a Primarina. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Back at the estate we were watching TV and reading books. Sheila, guys, I'm ready to tell you about my backstory. Me, are you sure, Sheila? You don't have to tell us if you don't want to. Sheila, no, you guys have a right to know. Okay. Here goes. Sheila took a deep breath. Sheila, my family life has not been a pleasant one. Flashback. Sheila, narrating. I was a normal little girl with a fun life ahead of me. But my parents were different. My father was a raging alcoholic and drug user. He would drink large quantities of beer and sniff in huge amounts of cocaine. My mother, however, loved me more than all of life itself. She told me that I was destined for great things and she wanted me to help people. But then came that horrible day. My mom and dad got into a terrible argument and then I came down to the living room and saw them fighting and then my dad took a shotgun and blew my mother's head off. Crying, I saw him kill my mother right in front of my eyes. The police came in a couple of seconds after that and arrested him. The flashback showed everything Sheila said. Flashback ends. Sheila was crying hard and it was horrible that she went through all that. Very was comforting her. Very, that's awful. I completely understand how you feel, Sheila. My parents were murdered too. We gave Sheila a chance to calm down. Me, what happened to your father? Sheila, sniffles. He was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death. I testified against him at his trial and he hated my guts for it. They executed him on April 24, 2007. That was the day my mother died. That's why I didn't like to talk about it. My father was a monster. Me, what a fucked up motherfucker. Nico, your father has failed this world and the next. Me, he sure has. We were sad and felt sorry for Sheila. But we promised to help her. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction in an awesome race done. A global race was such an awesome idea. Me and N Watts came up with the idea for this one. Credit goes to you for the idea and it was so awesome. Thanks man. I did most of the ideas and more. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man as usual. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.